Alright, welcome back. So, as you can see, I scored a set of hooker competition headers for this engine off of Craigslist, my favorite place, for 80 bucks. Can't beat that. It's $110 off the price. So, doing everything on a budget, that's what we're doing here. As you can see, we also got the engine painted here. So this looks, I'm not looking for, any kind of restoration, kind of thing. I'm looking, just trying to get a little bit of color, on this little display spot. But actually, the block doesn't even match the heads. I used two different cans, and I don't know. I mean, orange is orange, whatever. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. But we got some things in the mail here. I got my cam in, which I'm very excited about. That's the Crane 274 H06. If anybody's interested in looking that up, it's a 450 lift, 274 duration. Should be pretty fun. My water pump came in, and the engine gasket set. A couple of belts, the plugs. I'm waiting on a few other things coming in, but ready to start sealing things up here. Tonight, I'm actually working on the oil pump. I got this Melling 155, and this is the original oil pump. Mind you, I'm sure it's probably fine, but in my mind, if I have this, it's brand new, unused Melling. You can't, I'll take the higher quality. So I'm hoping to do that, and I'm hoping to do the rear main seal, which apparently was, leaking. So let's hope that we can slide that out, the old two-piece. I'm hoping to just slide this guy right out, pop it right out. Hoping to just slide one right back in without having to touch the crank. That's what I'm hoping to do. The old two-piece. So with that, if I can get that done, I can put the oil pump on, put the pan on, and I can get that all straightened up. I can put the cam in. I can put the double roller timing chain I have in my basket. I can put that in there. So then I can put the timing cover on. And right now I'm waiting on lifters, and I'm waiting on valve springs. I was kind of going back and forth with the valve springs because, it isn't a very radical cam. 450 lift isn't really like all that much. But at we're talking about $70, to my door. I can have a set of like decent valve springs put on this, or less. Like, if I really shop smart, which I probably, will find a better deal. So that's what I'm going to do. That way I can get the heads put back on and button up the top end. Get the intake manifold on and everything. Really get this thing moving. Definitely trying to get in some runs this year. On or off the bottle, I'm not really sure. I guess we'll just have to see. The last couple of weeks I had some things come up, some medical stuff, and it just happens at court. You never know. So it kind of soaks up some money sometimes. But no, we're just moving right along. We're gonna get this engine together. This is gonna be pretty cool. I'm not expecting, not expecting race numbers out of this engine. I'm just looking for something street fun, and then we're gonna, turn it up a little bit with some juice, and more than likely than not, I think we all know how that usually ends, because me personally, I get greedy. I won't stop. So we'll definitely push it. But there's always a round two. There's always another motor. 305. This is really my I'm learning. I'm doing my nitrous learning on this. That's really what I think I want to do. But I want to have some fun with it too. I don't want to not try out to just murder it. But let's do something fun with it. So what else do we got here? Okay, well, these headers. I was gonna paint these white. I had a white header primer. But I started sanding them down, and I started liking it. You know, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. You know, I don't know if there's any opinions. You know, it's either this or the white, because I'm not buying any more paint. You know, and I do have the white, but, you know, and then at the same time I was thinking, okay, well, white on an orange engine, it's going to look like a creamsicle. I don't want a creamsicle engine. So, tell you what you guys think. These are coated already. I have the high temp clear coat on them right now. I don't know. They look pretty sick. You know, I'm thinking I might just run them. See what? Because, you know, more than likely than not, this engine's only going to be in this car this season anyway. You know, more likely than not, I'm probably going to get bored this winter. You know, and more than likely than not, I'm going to pull the engine, and something else is going to go in there. So it doesn't really make a difference. Engine needs to just kind of last what it needs to last. You know, it'd be nice if the engine lasted. You know, that'd be cool. Because I'll, you know, we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Okay, so back to this rear main seal here. What I do to get this out, most people say, yeah, unfortunately you got to pull the crank. You got to pull the crank. See, the problem is that the one seal goes on this section of the crank, and on the other side it connects to the rear main bearing cap, and that all clamps together. What you can see here is I got the end poking out here. What I do is there's a metal rim inside here that runs on this keyway leg. I put the screwdriver right on there and I give it a good old tap with the hammer, and that bitch slides right around. So hopefully I can just pull this thing out, and I can slide the new one back in, and we'll be ready for this smelling oil pump. Alright. Here we are putting the new seal in, and as I said, I got it halfway in now. It literally just slides right back through. Those who have say take the crank out, take the crank out. There it is, new seal in. Beautiful. Took literally 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So we'll put this on the new rear cap, or the new seal on the old rear cap, and we're gonna get this pump on and hopefully seal this thing up tonight. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, well, I took a step back from doing the bottom end because, of course, when you order some of these kits with numerous amount of gaskets, they always seem to be missing something, and in this case, they forgot my timing cover seal. So, well, I timing cover to the oil pan. So I can't seal up the oil pan quite yet, which is fine because I got the gasket on it anyway. You know, and I just got the pan sitting on it, so it dries flat right now. So that all the holes are all lined up around. And, that way when I get the seal in, probably just have to order it, but that's okay. It happens. It's some of these kits, you know. But anyway, so, me being who I am, kind of got a little distracted, and I decided to take a look at the intake manifold that I have, which is the aluminum. And now that I have intake manifold gaskets, I can kind of gasket match, right? Okay, so here we go. So I line this guy up here. Oh, I am backward. Okay, boom. Pretty close. Actually spot on. You can see the ports are spot on. Right? The bolt holes are spot on. The ports are spot on. And I match it to the head. I'm sorry, that's when I flip it around. And you can see how far off they are. So I took a Sharpie marker here, and I Sharpie markered in each port to see what was the overlap as far as metal on each one of these ports. Alright, so I take this gasket off and look what I'm left with. Look at how uneven these ports are. You know, these weren't very, you know, they weren't taking a strong consideration, you know, in manufacturing these things. You know, this hump, I believe, that's in this head right here is the hole for the valve covers, which is ridiculous. You know, you took away port, you know, volume for, you know, strength around a quarter-inch bolt, 10mm bolt, whatever. So I actually already did this one head, and it didn't take me very long. You know, I'm not going very crazy on these ports. You know, I'm just really matching here. So here's what I did here. You can see, you know, not as strong, you know, not really, didn't go too crazy. There's still a little bit of marker left, you know. I'm not trying to go nuts. I'm just looking, you know, just a tiny little bit, you know. You can go overboard with these. You can go too much. But look at the gasket on these. Much better matched. Spot on. Spot on. That's what I want. That's what I want. You know, because it's all coming out of this ports here. So if these are bigger than these, we're gonna run. It's literally gonna run into a brick wall. That's gonna cause turbulence. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's gonna cause turbulence. So we want these things to match. All right, so we got this head ported, or matched, whatever. You know, at least closer than it was, way closer than it was. Anything is better than that. So, so yeah, the updates on the engine. We got the cab. We're waiting on the lifters. We're waiting on valve springs. Kind of on the fence with push rods. Not really sure if it's necessary, but I'll price them out. I'll see if I can't score them for pretty cheap. So get that all buttoned up. From there, we need an ignition, so we need a distributor. I have the wires, I have the plugs here. We're gonna need a fuel pump. This is a mechanical fuel pump, so we're gonna run a fuel pump. For that, from that, I mean, we're pretty much ready to put it in the car after that. So I'm thinking, you know, with what I got here, we're gonna keep putting this thing together. Meanwhile, I'm gonna order some more parts and keep the parts coming in. And we're gonna slowly start putting this engine together. Well, not slowly. This is happening pretty quick. So let's get this thing wrapped up. You know what I mean? Let's get some racing in this season. Nobody wants to see some winter advisory. All right, stay tuned.